Welcome back to the Circuit Revival. We've got something a bit interesting here. So it's the screen to an exercise bike off my father's exercise bike. He's handed it over to me because the display is a little weak. It doesn't display as clearly and some of the buttons don't work. So we'll open it up and take a look. So, so a few ring cables in place, they're really solid in, so screw that. And then what do we have inside? So everything is soldered in place and what looks to be about 1,000 screws holding it in. So I suppose we'll just have to get those undone and then we might be able to lift it out of the case a bit easier. So I'll probably fast forward through this because there's a lot. Let's see. Okay, so just screwing the few little buttons that just press the tabs down to get them to work. Okay, so what do we have on here then? Some buttons. The screen looks like it's connected on with a zebra connector, so I'll try and avoid that if I can. A couple of wires. They seem to be soldered in alright. Let's see if we can take a look at the back. We'll just do a quick visual inspection, see if there's anything that stands out. Capacitor here that has a bit of a scratch over the top, nothing major, just this one here. It's got a slight scratch on top. But beyond that, can't say I can see anything that stands out. Blob chip on the back of this here. Crystal. Nothing major. I suppose we'll start by trying to see if we can test these capacitors, see if any of them are shorted out. Got my multimeter here, so I'll set it to continuity, which is just the mode that beeps when the leads touch. My multimeter's a bit temperamental, so it doesn't often work, so we'll just test. There we go. What I'm going to do is just go between the two legs of the capacitors and see whether they're connected. Let's try and see. So that first capacitor there, that was a bit broken. No, scratch obviously doesn't mean anything. A few others on here. Try this one. The next one. Nope. No, so there's only a few capacitors on there and they all seem okay. So let's see if there's anything else. There's a few transistors on here. See if we can't test those. See if any of the legs. Now, I can never quite remember how to test these, but I think if we test between the legs we should get a reading on some of them but not the others. So we're going to diode mode. I'm just going to try and go between these legs here. That's nothing. That's nothing. Let's swap the leads. That's still nothing. Oh no, there we go. Sorry, I just wasn't quite on it properly. So the voltage drop was 0.69 and nothing. I'll try just the other way again. Lost my leads now, so let's see if we can't do this. 1.5, 1.8. I don't know if that's right. Let's try these others. So what's that on this side? That's 0.7, 0.7. Swap the leads. Nothing. Just double check the connection there. Nothing. Something. Okay. Okay, all of those are testing differently to each other apart from the last two. I don't know if that's right or not. That's a bit all over the place. That's gone up to 1.7 and climbing. That's 0.14. 0.12 and climbing. 0.3 and climbing. That seems odd. Let's see if the other one does the same. It does. They're back to back though, so I don't know if they're trying to do something specific, but they definitely seem to be giving some odd readings. And this 1.7 open. Okay, and we'll test those two with lead swap. 1.8, 1.9, 0.6, 1.1. 0.6. Okay, so they're all doing something different. There's just one more up the top here, which is near the screen, so see if this does anything differently. 0.6, 0.6, and 1.8. Yeah, so far they're all doing something a bit different, which doesn't help. Just have a look, see if there's anything else that stands out. So if we need to be connected to that connector, I wonder whether we can find how it gets its power. We might be able to bypass the power supply and see if we can't plug it into the bench power supply. See if I can leave that in there and see if it shows up on this connector anywhere. Okay, so there's our negative. Second one in, then the positive. Third one in. Let's test those two together. So there's not a short between the power rails, so let's see whether we can put voltage onto those. We can't put some power in, see if we can get the screen to show slightly from there. So the batteries are 1.5 each, and it's in series because it runs from here to there, to there, to there, to there, to there. So it's 1.5 times 4, so that's 6 volts. We'll put the bench power supply on here, set it to 6 volts. Okay, let's see if we can position this in a way. So it was negative was second one in. So let's go there and there, and still nothing. So that is not drawing anything at all. So let's see if we can't trace that a bit further in then. positive there, negative there. Okay, positive, negative, let's try that. Okay, so we had it for a second there. And you can see came on and then goes really faint. Okay, what I might do is just solder a couple of wires onto that, and then I can attach these leads straight to the wires. So what I do is just snip a bit of this wire off, just here, and then we'll attach these on, then we can connect our leads to it and come and have a look around the board without having to worry, because it could be that one of those transistor things just isn't quite functioning properly, and if it's putting out some heat we might be able to work out what it is, and it might just need replacing. Now chances are I probably don't have any replacements for it if it does do, so we might just need to wait a little bit. I'll get some ordered up and then we'll see. So I'm just going to start by tinning my iron. Just add some fresh solder to this. I'll get my wires. Right, it might just be a bit thick for the task at hand, but we'll get it on there. Just add some more solder to that. Nice, that one's on. Let's find where I knocked that red one off too. And we'll do the same with this. Okay, let's try and connect these on. Okay, so it goes up and then drops immediately and then idles around 0.2 of an amp. Let's see what that does. So it goes up to 3.3, 0.03 down to 0.1. I wonder why that is. Let's see if we can't see anything with the camera. I don't imagine we will. Don't think 0.1 or 2 of an amp is enough to see any heat. Although there is a bit of a heat spot coming. I think that might just be actually where we're injecting into. See if I get a plastic spudger. See if we can see. It is around underneath where that is. So we can turn this around, see if there's anything on the other side. I'll get this a bit more in view for you. there is a heat spot coming from around the bottom there. Let me just try and lay this out so that these aren't touching. See if I can get a cushion or something to rest that on. Try not to short anything out. Okay, let's now set a constant 0.3 amps now, which is a little odd. Don't know why that's changed. But okay, you guys can sort of see that. Okay, so all of the heat is coming from this transistor here. There's another heat spot by the looks of things. Where is that? That's kind of where the wires are joining in. There's a tiny heat spot of like just that connecting cable there. Hard to tell, it's like it might be both of those little transistory things. See if we can put some IPA on it and see if it shows anything. I say at 0.3 of an amp, I don't think we're going to see anything, but it might make it a bit clearer if it's one or the other. So I'm just going to brush some IPA on these and watch and see whether either of them dry out quicker than the others. Okay, I can't see anything major, however, that first one we were looking at does look like it might be changing a bit more than the other. Like I say, that low current draw, I don't think we're really going to see anything, but this transistor here, we'll see what that is, because that looks like that might be the issue. It's definitely doing something different. So it's got the markings 733P29C. We'll see what that comes up as. Okay, so I've just googled it. It says here the A733 transistor is a PNP bipolar junction transistor designed for general purpose low power amplification and switching applications. That could well be our issue then, if we're looking at it not getting the power to where it needs to. If that's not functioning correctly, that might be the problem. So I don't have any of those here right now, but we'll get one ordered up, switch it out and see if we have any luck. So it'll be a few days for me, but it'll be a few moments for you. I'll see you in the next pair. Welcome back. It's been a couple of days my end, but it'll be a few moments for you. So the transistors have arrived. They're here. They weren't expensive, about £2 with delivery for 10, so a few spares if I ever need them again. So what we'll do is we'll try to replace that transistor that looked like it may be wrong. We don't know, it still may be correct, but we'll give it a go and see if it changes anything. So if I remember correctly, it was just this one here that needed changing. So we'll pull that out and see what happens. So it could well be that that was getting hot because that is where one of our leads is attached to, but we'll find out. So just get this in here. So I've got my soldering iron heated up. We'll remove this wire first of all and then see what happens as a result. Let's go with that. So I'm just going to use this solder sucker and my soldering iron, and we'll just work our way around each of these points and hopefully remove it. So I'm hoping it wasn't just because that was the area we were injecting voltage into, and I'm hoping that this does fix it, but if not, we'll continue looking around and see what other issues we might be able to find. There we go, so almost there. Last one. Okay, we'll see if this will come out now. Okay, what I'll do is I'll get my tweezers and we'll start to leverage it out whilst heating from the other side. And there we go, we are out. Just separate the legs out slightly just so we can get it in a bit easier, and then put it in and solder it in and see whether we have any difference. Just get those 3 legs there. Get that pushed down. We'll just flip this over. And I'm just going to bend these legs out slightly just to try and get it to hold itself in place. Grab my soldering iron and solder again, and we'll just fill these holes. Yeah, so they all look good. What we'll do now is we'll just cut the ends off so they aren't sticking out all over the place. So I'll just tin this wire up again, just add a bit of solder to it, hopefully it'll stick a bit easier. So I'm hoping it wasn't just because that's where we're injecting voltage, that's why it was heating up there. But given it was the only place, it might well be. Okay, so both the wires attached again. See if we have anything different. Black to black and red to red. And no, we have no difference whatsoever. Hopefully you can see it comes on and then fades straight back out again. Although I think the screen does possibly look a bit darker, but we still don't seem to have anything there. I think the power supply seems to be doing a bit better, so it's up to a few, still at a few milliamps, still not a lot, but I think it's a bit higher than it was. See if there's any difference across the board. No, that heat still seems to be localised around where we're injecting into. you can see is we've got these switches along here. I just wonder whether maybe if one of them was constantly pressed in or something, that might be the problem. So we'll have continuity through here, so we're just in the mode that beeps when I touch the probes together. Continuity through here, but then not diagonally unless we push the button. So I was wondering maybe if one of those was constantly pressed in, that might stop it from working, but so far they all seem okay. Just check all of these diodes here. So the diodes, I believe, should read a voltage one way, but not anything the other way. And so far, so good here. So I've just got my multimeter to the left of me. It's just a bit of a mess on my desk at the moment, so if I find anything I'll pull it in. Okay, something interesting here. If that's the case, I'll just bring this in, see if you can see it. So we have a row of diodes just here, and if we go across the top row, if I put my black probe on the top and my red probe on the bottom, you can see we have a reading of 0.5 voltage drop, and if I put them the other way, red on top, black on the bottom, you can see open line. And this is the same for all of those, so we'll have black on top for each of them. You can see we get a reading, and the next two, if I swap over, red on top, nothing, and then again the same, nothing. If I come down to this next row here, if I go black on top, red on bottom, 0.197 and climbing, and if I go the other way, 0.5. Now I believe a diode is only supposed to read something one way. I don't think it's supposed to show anything on the other side. Okay, so I've gone around the board. I can't find anything that stands out to me beyond these diodes just here. Although I am aware that testing them in circuit isn't ideal. So what I'm going to do is desolder one of the legs on each of them and just test them again, see if they're still giving that same voltage drop both ways, because it could be something else in the circuit that's causing it. So we'll just give that a go. So what I'll do is I'll do the same again. I'll get my solder sucker and I'll just pull out this top row and hopefully pull the legs out one by one and see if we get anything different. That's that top row done, so hopefully we should be able to just lift the legs out one by one to test them. No, they don't just lift out. I might just need to apply some heat to the other side just to lift it back up again. Okay, just try not to snap the legs off as we do it. So we'll just test this first one and then I'll probably just speed up through the rest in case anything happens. So I'll go on the end and the end. So that shows nothing. And that shows something. So chances are we'll get the same through each of them. And that one is testing normally as well, so clearly it was nothing to do with the diodes there. So I'll just solder those all back in place. Have a look around some more of the board, see if we can see anything. If not, we might just have to call this one a no fix for now. Okay, so I've had a look around the board. I can't see anything, nothing stands out to me. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to reflow all of the solder points and see if there's anything that changes as a result. There is a blob chip underneath the screen here, which could be the problem itself. I can't get the screen off because there'll be no way of getting it back in afterwards if that's the case. But if that blob chip has gone, this thing is done for anyway. But I'll give it a go, I'll reflow and things, see if anything changes. If it does, happy days. If not, I'll leave it to you guys. Let me know if there's anything that stands out to you, anything you spotted that I missed. But right now, I'm not 100% certain what's going on. And as I've just gone to reflow it, it's pulled one of the legs out, but as you can see there is no switch there at all. So I'm wondering whether maybe that's what's causing it. But looking at the front panel, there's no button there. There is on the back of the board here. You can see there's 1, 2, 3. So there is a place for a button, but on the front there's not. So maybe it's for a different model, and maybe an updated one. Because on the back of the board here it does say body fat, and there's no body fat on the front here. So could be coincidence, but it does just look a bit. I don't know. It looks like it's maybe been cut off. So maybe they use it in the manufacturing process, and maybe it's not used after that. Okay, I think they're the only ones that particularly look bad, so we'll give it a go. See if it's made any difference. I'm not expecting it will have done, but we'll see. No, we're still exactly the same. Okay, so last option is I'm just going to give it a bit of a scrub over with IPA, see if that makes any difference. I'm not expecting it will do, so I'm just going to grab a toothbrush, a bit of IPA, and I'll just give it all a good scrub. Okay, so I don't think that's going to make any difference. We'll just double check, and then if not, we might just have to call this no fix and see if you guys got any ideas. No. Nope. So sadly, for now, this one is no fix. We'll put it back together. If you guys have any ideas about it, let me know. And maybe we'll do a revisit. But for now, sadly, I think this one is going to have to be a bust.